The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Everyone knows that Knoxville, Tennessee is the capital of the volunteer nation. Today, Powerboat racing takes to the waters of the Vol Navy's home port for some nose-to-nose high-speed fun. Get ready, race fans. RMG's Hydro Zone from Knoxville starts now. Race fans, we are coming to you from the shadow of Neyland Stadium in beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee, where today Powerboat Superleague is ready to kick up the waters of the Tennessee River here at the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic. Hello again, everyone. Jared Romsberg here, alongside the RMG Sports crew. So excited to be back in volunteer country, where it is time for the Visit Knoxville pre-race show. Located on the Tennessee River, Knoxville is home to a number of festivals, loads of live music, a world-class zoo, highly acclaimed museums, and a unique urban wilderness. Learn more at visitknoxville.com. In the first heat race for Group A of the SST 200s, Tennessee's own Mark Profit in the 27 led Tracy Hawkins and the rest of the fleet onto the course. Hawkins and Profit went side by side, but the two went wide out of turn 4, and Profit mashed the throttle and moved into the lead as they blasted down the Tennessee River. Profit's teammate, 62 Chris Fairchild, was pestering Hawkins for second. Here he ripped around the turn 4 buoy, taking the inside line, but Hawkins would have none of that, and the Texan quickly moved down in front of Fairchild. Soon, Zimmerman, Minnesota's Merv Bjork, who finished third here in Knoxville last year, shot the 32 by Fairchild for third. The local favorite, Mark Profit, stayed in front and took home the win in Group A's first heat race for the SST 200s. In the second heat for Group A, Willis, Texas's Tracy Hawkins ignited out of turn 4 with the lead. Merv Bjork was in second, but the 27 of Mark Profit roared up alongside to do battle. Soon, 62 Chris Fairchild tried to nose into the fight. He was looking to challenge his teammate Mark Profit, but as he came into turn 4, he got caught by the Tennessee and almost spun. But the veteran Fairchild kept it together, got back on his horse and back into the fight as we stayed green. As we got closer to the checker, the battle for second erupted. 32 Merv Bjork held the position and the inside line as they went through turns 1 and 2. But Mark Profit found some extra horsepower on the backstretch and slid alongside and by the Minnesota driver, taking second as they flew down the backstretch into turn 3. The two had amassed a nice lead, and Tracy Hawkins won the second SST 200 Group A heat. When the SST 200's Group B took to the water, 16 Tim Seabold had the NGK Sparkplugs boat in front. But 9 John Fleming and 97 Dan Orchard were fighting hard to move up. Here, Fleming went wide out of turn 2, and Orchard looked to pounce. But the Texan Fleming kept the Canadian Orchard back in third. Ashton Rinker, who finished second in Knoxville in 2013, was trying to get the Amsoil 20 into the fight. But the 16 was way out in front, and Osage Beach, Missouri's Tim Seabold took home the win in Group B's first heat race. In their second heat, John Fleming shot out to the front, but 16 Tim Seabold was in hot pursuit, along with Dan Orchard and Ashton Rinker. But as the pack came to turn 1, Orchard ripped the 97 around the pin, taking the inside line. 16 Tim Seabold was not about to give up. He moved the NGK Sparkplug 16 boat right alongside of Orchard, and they went side by side, thrilling the crowd at Volunteer Landing. While Dan Orchard was able to keep the position through the turns and keep Tim Seabold in third, John Fleming was out in front, and he took the checkered in the second heat race for Group B. Now that qualifying is complete, let's meet the top 3 starters for Powerboat Superleague's SST 200 feature. In third, we find Willis, Texas's Tracy Hawkins. He knows he has his work cut out for him, but so does his competition.
My plan is to get a good start, get out in front of them, and tell them to come catch me. And when they have to come catch Tracy Hawkins, they all know they got a job to do, but it can be done, but they better have the shoes on.
In second is another Texan, John Fleming from Houston. He knows it's going to be tough getting past the pole sitter.
He's tough to beat. We've beat him. He's beat us. He's won the last 2 races, so hopefully we'll have the good luck on us. We can get off the dock good. We do have 30 laps, so it's a long race on the Tennessee River here, so we should be okay. I think I have a good feeling.
And on the pole is Jacksboro, Tennessee's Mark Profit. He thinks he's got what it takes to win in his hometown.
I've got an awesome boat. I've got an awesome team that has worked really hard to get the motor. We worked countless nights last week. You know, Gary Pugh's built the best boats that's here or anywhere in the world. These things are fast, and I'm just lucky enough to get to drive one.
Now here's the rest of the field for Powerboat Superleague's running of the SST 200 feature here at the Knoxville Powerboat Classic. Missouri's Tim Seabold has the NGK Sparkplug 16 in the fourth place slot. All the way from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, we find 97 Dan Orchard in fifth. He finished third last year. He starts sixth this year. It's 32 Merv Bjork from Minnesota. Veteran driver Chris Fairchild from Papaw, Illinois will start seventh on the dock. Lynn Sinberger from Elsa, Illinois will start eighth. In ninth, we find the General Lee Daniel from North Augusta, South Carolina. And Clifton, Illinois' Mark Jacob occupies the 10th and final slot on the dock. Fans, don't go anywhere. We have so much more to show you from the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic here on RMG's Hydro Zone when we come back right after this.
This presentation of the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic is brought to you by Outdoor Knoxville. Check out Knoxville's outdoor activities, venues, and events at outdoorknoxville.com. By the Knoxville Convention Center, Southern Hospitality, Downtown Sophistication, Outdoor Adventure. McKee Tyson Airport, now boarding at flyknoxville.com. The University of Tennessee at Knoxville, Big Orange, big ideas. Learn more at utk.edu. And by Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. Visit calhouns.com for more. This segment of the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic is brought to you by Visit Knoxville. Knoxville, Tennessee is conveniently situated at the crossroads of I-75, I-40, and I-81, within a day's drive of nearly half of the U.S. population. Getting here is easy. Start planning your getaway today at visitknoxville.com.
Welcome back to the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic. So much going on this weekend here in Knoxville, but there's always so much to do here. Take a look at this. Here at the Imes Nature Center, there's a new kind of adventure, the Navitat, a tree-based zip-line adventure. You've got to check this out in person, fans. Adventure always awaits at the Knoxville Zoo. You can see all sorts of animals to include the zoo's newest residents, 2 baby western lowland gorillas. And back in town, check this out. The Pretentious Beer Glass Company is a brewery and glass blowing business. They don't only make the beer, they make the glass you'll drink it out of. And when you're in Knoxville, you gotta eat at Calhoun's. From the awesome food to the great view of the Tennessee River, Calhoun's is a favorite place for so many, to include the RMG Sports crew, and we thank Calhoun's for all their help this weekend. It was a busy weekend in Knoxville. In addition to the powerboats, Knoxville was celebrating Boomsday. The final countdown for the Labor Day Festival featured the Kids Zone, plenty of vendors, live music by Joe Lasher, Austin Webb, and Cam, and it was topped off with a 10,000-pound fireworks show. Fans along Neyland Drive at Volunteer Landing and on the Tennessee River were treated to an absolutely fantastic fireworks show. But now let's move from the skies above Knoxville to right down on the Tennessee River for Powerboat Superleague's SST 60 feature race. 64, Toby Hood led the fleet out of turn 4 as 48, Tom Holmesen, 57, Alyssa Petroni, and 16, Carol Reno fought to catch up. 2 laps in, Petroni moved alongside of Holmesen, and the two battled side by side for second. Petroni made it through turns 3 and 4 ahead of Holmesen, and the Kankakee, Illinois driver moved to second. But it was a Pennsylvanian that would take the checkered as Toby Hood made short work of this one and won the SST 60 feature race in Knoxville. Carol Reno and David Garza round up the field of SST 60 racers here in Knoxville. In Powerboat Superleague's SST 120 feature, 2, Lee Daniel took off from the dock with the lead. As they came out of turn 4, 34, Jeff Reno, and 7, Mark Jacob rocketed across the top of the Tennessee for second. Jacob would get close to Reno, but the Okeechobee, Florida driver would slam the door every time. 11 laps in, Mark Jacob had mechanical issues, and 10, Ashton Rinker flew by the limping 7 to take the third place slot. The General would maneuver through the lapped boats and take command of the rest of this race. North Augusta, South Carolina's Lee Daniel won Powerboat Superleague's SST 120 feature here in Knoxville. Jeff Trisciano and John Ludwig round out the top 5 finishers of the SST 120 feature race. Race fans, don't move a muscle. The SST 200s are moving off the trailers onto the water and down to volunteer landing. The main event at the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic is coming up right after this.
This segment of the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic is brought to you by Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com.
Race fans, welcome back to Knoxville as the last of the boats are making their way to the dock here at Volunteer Landing. Riding along with Merv Bjork, let's take a look at how they're going to line up on the dock. Mark Profit, the local favorite, on the pole. John Fleming right next door. Tracy Hawkins. Great field of drivers here ready to do battle on the Tennessee River. But you can see this is the calm before the storm. All eyes are on the flagman as we wait for the drop of the flag. And we're racing in Knoxville.
Stay on the inside. Stay on the inside. You got 3 boats wide on the outside. 3 boats wide outside. Stay walking funny. You can stay walking funny.
Tracy Hawkins took off like a boat. Whoa, Mark Profit. Mark Profit has trouble out of turn 3. That's the same place he saw disaster last year here in Knoxville. But Tracy Hawkins takes off down the front stretch, and he's going to lead the fleet with Lynn Sinberger right in his right hip pocket. Mark Profit was able to recover. He's back in third as both Sinberger and our leader, Tracy Hawkins, go through turns 1 and 2 for the first time of this 30-lap feature race. Look at Mark Profit. Boy, he's pushing that gas pedal through the bottom of the boat as he's trying to catch up to Lynn Sinberger as they go into turn 3. 2 veteran boat racers. Oh, Sinberger has some trouble in turn 3. Turn 3 has been a thorn in the side for 2 of the front runners. Here comes Tim Seabold on the inside of Mark Profit. Going to go side by side for the 3rd place slot. Profit was watching that yellow 72. Didn't see the NGK Sparkplug 16 come roaring up alongside. Here goes Profit. Now he's coming up along Sinberger. Battle for second as they go through turns 1 and 2. Sinberger on the inside, Mark Profit on the outside, and look at the horsepower shown by this 27 boat of Mark Profit moving right alongside of second place Lynn Sinberger. Ripping down the backstretch at speeds over 100 miles an hour side by side through the turns. Profit stays on the throttle a little bit more, and he goes ahead of Sinberger, and the local favorite, Jacksboro, Tennessee's Mark Profit, moves into second. Mark's wife Linda on the radio spotting for him in the turns, letting him know that he's in second place, encouraging him to get up alongside of that gold and purple 2 boat as Lynn Sinberger now struggles to keep Tim Seabold at bay back in third. 2 veteran boat racers now duking it out for the final spot on the podium. Lynn Sinberger, Tim Seabold, and right behind them they got to watch out for that 97 boat of Dan Orchard. Orchard now trying to move up alongside of Tim Seabold. Look at this. In perfect formation, they come out of the turn. Sinberger, Seabold, Orchard throw a blanket over him for the 3rd place spot. Elsa, Illinois' Lynn Sinberger is going to hold on to the position, but look at this fight right behind him again. Dan Orchard trying to take the inside groove away from Tim Seabold, and Seabold just hits him with the rooster tail as he and Sinberger explode down the backstretch. Our leader, Tracy Hawkins, now in turn 4. Mark Profit, you can see he's right there, maybe 3 boat lengths behind, maybe a little bit more as they fly down the front stretch. Hawkins qualified 3rd on the dock. He had an absolutely fantastic start, beating everybody to the commitment buoy. And you can see how he just rips that 2 boat through turns 1 and 2. Profit looks like he might be creeping up on him. He moves to the outside, tries to get in that clean, wake-free water. Battle for thirds heating up again. Tim Seabold trying to move alongside Lynn Sinberger on the outside. And while they duke it out, they've got to keep an eye in their rearview mirror because here's Dan Orchard back in 5th. He's carrying an RMG speed cam. Look at that, 101 going down the backstretch into turn 3, dropping the speed down in the 50s, nearly a 50-mile-an-hour drop as now Tim Seabold trying to move alongside on the outside of Lynn Sinberger. Dan Orchard trying to move alongside on the inside of Seabold as we go split screen. Look at that. Once again, Orchard hitting a century mark with that speedometer as now he slides to the inside of Tim Seabold. Side-by-side battle for 4th. Lynn Sinberger tries to disappear on the horizon and let these 2 duke it out behind him. Tim Seabold on the outside. Look at the speed of that 97 boat hitting the century mark again, dropping it down. Here he comes. still occupying lane 1 inside of Tim Siebold as they're going to go side by side. Again, the 4th place slot on the line here, ripping down the Tennessee River at speeds approaching and then in excess of 100 miles an hour. Let's go full screen so you get the full effect, fans. As Dan Orchard now moves to the inside, side by side battle for 4th. Dan Orchard, whoa, he caught a little bit of a wave there. And Tim Siebold's going to hold on to 4th and keep the Canadian Dan Orchard back in 5th. Up front, we find Tracy Hawkins, Mark Profit not too far behind. We'll ride out with our leader as we head out to a break. Fans, don't move a muscle. More from Knoxville right after this.
This segment of the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic is brought to you by Visit Knoxville. Located on the Tennessee River, Knoxville is home to a number of festivals, loads of live music, a world-class zoo, highly acclaimed museums, and a unique urban wilderness. Learn more at visitknoxville.com.
Race fans, welcome back to Knoxville as we catch up with our leader, Tracy Hawkins, here at the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic. You see his onboard camera a little worse for the wear. While Hawkins has been out front, he's led every lap of this race so far. He's getting around some lapped boats, and the Rooster Tails push the cameras back. Not an easy ride out there on the Tennessee today. Tim Siebold, we catch up with him back in 3rd. He moved to 3rd about the race's midway point as Lynn Simberger has moved back to the 5th place slot, right behind Siebold. Look at that. Here it comes Dan Orchard, the Canadian sensation, carrying the RMG Speed Cam. Let's ride along with him. Check this speed out, gang. 93 miles an hour under the Gay Street Bridge here in Knoxville. His 102. We saw 102 going into turn 1 as he's struggling mightily to catch up to that 16 boat of Tim Siebold. And what the leader, we're hearing the leader's slowed. The leader's out of the throttle. The leader's out of the throttle. There goes Mark Profit. Mark Profit assumes the lead with 4 laps to go in this race. There goes Tim Siebold around for 2nd. Tracy Hawkins limps to the outside of the course, surrenders 3rd place to Dan Orchard. And our new leader of this race, it's the local favorite, Jacksboro, Tennessee's Mark Profit. A cheer goes up from the crowd at Volunteer Landing as they watch their local hero, local favorite, Mark Profit, from just down the road in Jacksboro, Tennessee, move into the lead. Tim Siebold in 2nd. You can see Dan Orchard. He wants that 2nd place slot on the podium. He's trying to move up on the inside of Tim Siebold as they both go under the Gay Street Bridge, but look at Mark Profit just rip that boat around turns 3 and 4. And the man that led most of this race, Tracy Hawkins, has limped the 2 boat down to the dock off the race course. You can see the boats going by, lapping him, obviously visibly upset, because this man, Mark Profit, is now the leader. Hawkins took off like a bullet at the start, led 26 laps of this 30-lap race, only to have what we're hearing now, mechanical issues with the engine. Mark Profit now in turn 3, where last year that was a nightmare zone for him. He made contact with the leader, Brent Dillard, flipping his boat upside down in the Tennessee. He would finish last in that race. This year, however, turn 3 was a blessing for him, as that's where he got by Tracy Hawkins to take the lead. And now he sees the white flag in the air one more time around this race course on the Tennessee River. 2 more turns for that beautiful Wellcraft Norris Lake Boat Center 27 boat of Mark Profit. 2 more turns to go for the Jacksboro, Tennessee native, and he'll come around to see the checkered flag. Back on the throttle, Tim Siebold not a threat back in 2nd. And Knoxville right along with your hometown favorite. Look up on the right-hand side of the screen. The checkered flag's in the air for your winner, Mark Profit. Tim Siebold 2nd, Dan Orchard's 3rd. Fans don't move. The Visit Knoxville post-race show is next.
This presentation of the 2015 Knoxville Powerboat Classic was brought to you by the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Come see the world's largest basketball and experience fun for the whole family at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Work on your jump shot or come learn the history of the game. Visit WBHOF.com for more details. The Knoxville Zoo. Experience Knoxville's largest attraction with more than 800 of the Earth's most fascinating animals at the Knoxville Zoo. For more information, visit knoxvillezoo.org. McKee Tyson Airport, now boarding at flyknoxville.com. By the Knoxville Convention Center, Southern Hospitality, Downtown Sophistication, Outdoor Adventure. And by Outdoor Knoxville. Check out Knoxville's outdoor activities, venues, and events at outdoorknoxville.com.
Race fans, welcome back to Knoxville. As your winner here, Mark Profit, doing some celebratory donuts out on the Tennessee River as we welcome you to the Visit Knoxville post-race show. Knoxville, Tennessee is conveniently situated at the crossroads of I-75, I-40, and I-81, within a day's drive of nearly half the U.S. population. Getting here is easy. Start planning your getaway today at visitknoxville.com. Now let's catch up with a heartbroken Tracy Hawkins.
Something happened in the motor. We broke a rod or something. We got a hole in the side of the block. Man, I had it. You know, it was something else. Been a while since I won a big one. Really wanted it. But Mark Profit did a hell of a job. It's his hometown race, so I want to congratulate him.
Despite leading 26 laps of this race, Hawkins has to settle for 8th. Here's our third place finisher.
Oh, it's a fantastic event, great venue. Loved going uptown with my family last night. It was fantastic. Good water, a little bit too flat for us yesterday, but today was fantastic. As soon as we were past the commitment buoy, I looked on my left. I knew that I'd lost a boat length to Timmy. I just turned hard left on the inside of everyone else. Figured whatever happened in the turn, I'd just stay on the buoys and stay clean.
Merv Bjork, who finished 3rd here last year, finished 6th in 2015. Here's your runner-up.
Well, like I told my guys on the radio, I said, don't worry about what's in front of me. Just tell me where the guy behind me is so I can keep tabs on that and I can concentrate on trying to pass the guy in front of me. But that's how it always is. You know, you're trying to go forward, but you also got somebody behind you that's trying to do the same. Yeah, it was a great race all the way around. You know, I was fighting with Dan when we were trying to get around Lynn Simberger. And then when I was making a run at Mark, then Dan would sneak up there too. So there was a lot to contend with all the way around.
Veteran drivers Chris Fairchild and Lynn Simberger round out the top 5. Knoxville, here's your 2015 champ.
Well, Tim Sebo was nipping at my heels about the last 15 laps, and I really had to drive with my mirrors. My crew told me awesome, you know, where he was at all times and what he was doing and where he was trying to get around me. And I had an awesome crew, and they done a great job. You know, Tracy Hawkins drove an awesome race, and he just broke, and I was fortunate enough to be there when he did break. And when I seen him just slow down, he's slowing down. I'm going to get the lead, hot dog. It is the most best thing that you could ever imagine in the world. I've been trying to win this thing for 3 years, and luck was finally on my side this weekend, and we finally pulled it off.
As always, we had a fantastic time here in Volunteer Country and can't wait to come back. Congratulations again to Mark Profit on his win in his hometown. On behalf of the entire crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. Thank you, Knoxville. Until next time, we'll see you 24/7 at rmgsports.net.